Hey, what's up, guys? Hello to the fantastic, beautiful world of the fellow reselling community out there. My name is Kyle. I've been an online reseller for the past 14 years. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day, spending some time and having a little bit of a chat with me today. I'm talking about the last 30-ish days and stuff that is sold extremely fast within 48 hours of listing. Some of this stuff is even under 24 hours. I think the fastest thing on this list was about 10 hours. Overall, I think my best sale ever was sometime last year. I don't remember the item, but I think it was like 2 or 3 hours that it sold from the time I listed it, which was unbelievable. I don't know if maybe I priced it too low or it's just perfect timing. Let me know, what are some of your fastest sales, and if you can recall what those items were. Love to hear about this stuff. That's one thing I love about YouTube reselling community, is the sharing of information. And let's hop into this. It's like a list of, say, 13 or 15 items that I have sold in the last 30-ish days that have sold so fast. And first up, we got this Jellycat plush. It's a relatively new brand to me. I'm sure it's been around for a while, and you guys might already know about this. It's extremely popular here on YouTube. It has over 26,000 sales in the last 90 days, which is insane. That's like almost 300 sales per day on these plushes, and even the used ones seem to have some value, like $20-$25 plus. And plush, you can find these things everywhere, every thrift store. Some of them have bins and buckets full. Oftentimes you can find these out in the wild at garage sales too. So it's something that I'll definitely be checking more for when I'm out in the wilds. And even new ones, they can go for 40, 50. And if they're, depending on the size, some of the larger ones can go for $7,500. Or if they're retired plushes, they seem to have a lot of value. So this one that I have sold in just over 24 hours, $30 plus shipping. And this one was only 6 inches, actually one of the smaller ones on eBay at the time. Most of them are larger than this. So do keep an eye out for the Jellycat brand. It does seem like perhaps size matters in this particular instance of these Jellycat plushes, and that's what she said. Next up, we have some vintage G.I. Joes. I don't think that's a big surprise that vintage G.I. Joes have some value. Even newer ones obviously have some value as well, but the vintage ones, obviously there's a lot of collectors. Myself, I remember having G.I. Joes, and I used to bust them up. I used to smash them with my cars in the garage. I don't think I have any actually anymore, but these sell super fast. And these two I found for $5 at a garage sale, and these were twins. I didn't even know that they had twin GI Joes, but they came with the guns, which were awesome. That added a little bit of value. I got them at $5 in a bulk deal at a garage sale, and these sold overnight for $22 plus shipping. I may have priced them a little too low, but from what I could tell, it's kind of like mid of what they were selling, middle of the market on eBay. So obviously, no surprise, GI Joes, they sell fast, new or old, but especially some of the older vintage ones. I mean, those things, you find the right character or the right figure, then some of these things can go in the hundreds of dollars. And let's see, next up we have some, I don't know how to say this, Aqua di Gio. That's what I used to use in high school, and that's how I pretended to say it then, so that's how I pretend to say it now. This cologne, I remember splashing this stuff all over myself in high school, thinking that I thought I smelled like a champion. I thought the women were gonna just flock themselves over me because of this cologne. And I think instead it really just brought teachers like headaches. And I think, I just spent more hours working at my price chopper job trying to afford this stuff. But anyway, I found this bottle. This sold super quick, $28 plus shipping on eBay. I think I've got this $5 at a thrift store in Virginia. I know at last 2 or 3 videos I've done thrift stores up in Virginia while I was on vacation, and I got this for $5 at one of the thrift stores up there. We also have these 2 fender locking kits. These were in a video recently. A lot of this stuff was highlighted in recent videos of the past month. I paid $10 each for these locking kits. It was a little pricier than I'd want to pay, but I saw that they were selling for $40 or $50 when I picked them up. I did put them up for $40 plus shipping, and one sold in under 12 hours, and the other one sold. The other one did take a couple days, but the first one sold within 12 hours for that $40 price point. So fast money makes me happy. Portland Leather Company. This is another brand I only recently discovered in the last couple of years. Again, let me know if you guys have known about this stuff. Sometimes I'm oblivious. Even though I've been doing this for 14 years, I'm constantly discovering new brands, and I think that's probably true for all of us. Obviously, the more you learn and these brands that come in and out, you kind of add that to the Rolodex. So whenever you are out in the wilds, you thrift. You're able to thrift faster. You kind of know what to look for. So it's cool to to always be finding the same brands out there, but obviously there's so many new ones um, to keep discovering. So these are fantastic, really nice quality Portland leather goods. I've sold some shoulder bags in the past, but I've never seen these. These were actually in like a dollar bin, again, up in Virginia at a thrift store. They didn't make it into the video that I don't think they made it into the video that I did when I was up in Virginia, but these were like right near the register, this dollar bin. I picked them up. I didn't even look them up. I was already paying, and I just asked how much for these things, and they said $1 each. So I picked them up, and I thought they were like sunglass holders, but I don't know. I don't think they're exclusively sort of sunglasses. They're little pouches, however you want to put it in them. I got two of them, dollar each. They both sold within 36 hours. Pouches is a funny word, and obviously really solid margins. Portland Leather Goods or Portland Leather Company, really fantastic finds out in the wilds. Model sets. We all know model sets. They, some of the common brands that come up are like Revel, Airfix, and Tamiya, I think is how you say it. Most of them have pretty good value. I'd say the Revel for me has been the least valuable. It seems to be like the most consumer produced. Tamiya always does pretty well for me, but this one was new to me. This Edward, this was a vintage kit. The box is pretty beat up. I don't recall the year that this is from, but the box is open, but all the pieces were inside, still factory sealed, which was fantastic. I found this at a thrift store here in Georgia for $8, and it sold in less than 24 hours for my full asking price, which you see here on the screen. So pretty awesome find. And then we have, this is another brand new, this is like another theme, the brand new brand to me that has obviously been around for a while. Riker, I'm not sure if that's exactly how to say it, but these were also in a video when I was on vacation. However, these are up in upstate New York at a community sale. They had this particular sale, had tons of shoes, and they were doing $5 each. I think I got like 6 or 7 different pair of shoes there. And they had 2 of these Riker brands, $5 a piece, never heard of them. And then I paid $5 each, and both of them sold within 48 hours, $10 total. And for each, one was more expensive. I probably sold one a little too cheap at $20. And the other one I think was in the, a little over $35. So really good finds on these Riker shoes. Keen, that's another brand you probably, I think we all are familiar with Keen, but it's kind of like a bread and butter type deal where it's just, it's going to sell. For me, it's avocado toast, not so much bread and butter, or, tostadas de aguacate for my Spanish friends out there. The Keen brand is always something I am looking for. I got these for $5 at a garage sale, and they sold within 24 hours overnight. No shocker there. Keen is an awesome brand to look out for. Then we have, I'm making sure my phone battery isn't dying. I think we're good. Snap-on tools, again, no brainer. Snap-on tools, sometimes you have to pay up for because people know the quality of that brand, but it is out there and you can still profit on it. And I don't find a ton of Snap-on tools, but this was actually at a church sale, church community sale. And this was something that I found, you can also see that in a video. I don't remember when that video it was, but this was a vintage ball peen hammer. When I first saw it, it didn't like stick out as a Snap-on tool. It just looked very aged and very vintage. And I actually didn't discover that it was Snap-on until I started tinkering with it. And a lot of it was, it was kind of scuffed up before I noticed that it was. And I paid $8 for it. I don't think the church community sale necessarily knew that this was a Snap-on brand. But I don't think they necessarily care, because a lot of those community sales at the church, they just take like local donations from maybe their church group or just the community, and they're just moving stuff to raise funds or towards charities, whatever they're doing. But church sales are like one of my favorite types of sales because they just want to, they generally have really good pricing, and they have such a variety of stuff. It's just like everybody's clearing out their attics and basements and giving it to the Lord. And this was in that video. I bought it for $8, and it sold in under 24 hours for $40 plus shipping. Maybe I was on the little low end of the price, but again, I think that was just right around the market value on eBay. Super fast sale. So this brand, this particular item, this was a huge surprise to me. The brand, these Detail, they make these small metal figures. Usually it's like British Army, and they do it from the old timer soldiers to modern like World War soldiers. I think even back to like Revolutionary War type soldiers, and they're really high quality. The detail's great. They're metal, which I think people part of the reason that people really like these. I don't know if they're all metal, but a lot of the ones that I've sold in the past are metal. But the product itself, this one is a Kung Fu. I did not know that they made anything except like British soldiers. And this was bizarre. I'm not sure if this was in a video or not. I think it is. This was the only thing I found at a lawn sale here in Georgia one morning. It was the first sale I went to one morning. Just this bucket of large random stuff that had nothing to do with this. It was like fabrics and like kitchen stuff, I think. And this was just sitting on top. And I picked it up because of the brand of detail. I looked it up, I eBayed it to look for comps. And I think I'd sold, I think that at the time, it's in the video, I think it was selling for like 40 bucks or 35 bucks, something like that. And I was like, pretty insane. But there was only one that sold. So I wasn't sure if this was really hit much of a demand on eBay. But they were only charging a quarter at the lawn sale. So it was like for a quarter, even if it sits for 3 months or 4 months. It takes up virtually no space. The margins are incredible. So I did pick it up. I paid him one shiny quarter, and it wasn't as good of a condition. Condition can certainly matter, and it wasn't as good as a condition that I saw as the one that sold on the comp. So I did price it a little bit less, as you can see here, but that's all it took. And it sold for in less than a day and a half. So I probably could have priced it very similarly, but for a quarter and that margin, I mean, no complaints for me. I don't know how to say this next one. It's L'Artiste, another brand, new to me, not new to the world. And these were only $5. I know these made it into a video. These are $5 in a state sale. I found a mother load of shoes at this particular sale, and there was really good ones. I mean, I found like Merrell boots and multiple Keen and Merrell sandals at that sale. I think I bought like 10 different pair of shoes at that sale, including these ones here. And these sold really quickly, overnight, $43 plus shipping, LRT. So that's definitely one to keep an eye out for. And then Hot Wheels. We all know Hot Wheels. We all know Matchbox. I don't know how to pinpoint. I don't know, I'm not a guru on that, on these Matchbox cars, but I know that some of them can have some real collector value out there. I know like there's some terms like red line to look out for. I know there are like chase cars. I don't know how to identify them. The red lines, I believe, though, they do actually have red lines on the tires, the vintage ones anyway. If you can find, I'm always kind of just perusing. If I do see like the bucket of cars at thrift stores or around the wilds, I always look, really quickly to see if I can find any red lines on the outside of the tires. If I find those, then I do look those ones up. If you turn over the car, you probably already know this, but if you turn over the car, you can see the year that it's manufactured and generally the make and model of the car, and that's how you can look them up. And you can also open up like Google, what's the app with, of course I'm not going to be able to think of it. I'll put it on the screen here, but the Google app that identifies, basically you can take a picture and Google will just basically tell you, it's one of the AI things, will just tell you what it is. So if you're not sure, just take a picture with the Google app. So I found this one anyway, and it would be awesome skill, obviously awesome skill knowledge to have would be if you guys let me know if you guys know or you personally have knowledge on collectible Hot Wheels and Matchbox, because I can imagine that that's like a gold mine of knowledge, because I don't think a lot of people do. And at the same time, that matched with that there's so many of these cars out in the wilds of thrift stores and garage sales. I mean, you can find those cars at like every thrift store almost. And if you know what you're looking for, I can imagine that kind of knowledge, you can find some really fantastic treasures out there. Anyway, so this one was a new in-box one. This is why I looked at it. I know that the Toyota 4Runners are extremely popular. I know I certainly want one. And this one had some decent value. I got two of these actually at a thrift store. I paid $3 each, and both of them sold for $25 plus shipping in under 48 hours. So this was a fun little find. And then let's go to this final one here. My phone is not dead yet. This bag, American Angel. Again, what's the theme of the hour, or I guess the theme of the 18 minutes is new brands to me, not new brands to the world. American Angel, and I knew that this was a really high quality. I didn't know if it would have value. Assumed it did have value because it had some it looked like nice craftsmanship. The leather seemed really nice. It was very clean, and in particular the zippers on them on the bag. They were little angels, like little brass angels. So they weren't just generic zippers or hardware on the bag. Just judging by the quality of the craftsmanship of the bag, I knew that it'd be worth looking up. I did just add it without even looking up. I did just add it to the pile that I bought from this person at their lawn sale, just knowing. I actually didn't look it up until after I bought it. And I bought it for $5, and that was earlier this month, and it sold extremely fast. Maybe I priced it too low. Again, there's not a ton of the brand on eBay, but there's enough to make a decision that I know that it was worth selling. So a good lesson for next time, that definitely a good brand to keep an eye out for. American Angel. It was like a smaller backpack, and already sold that and got fantastic feedback on the quality, because again, it was really high, not just the quality, but just how clean it was. And I was actually shocked that after learning about this, that I was able to get such a good deal at the garage sale, $5, and it sold so fast. So that's one of my favorite things. I just did a video, maybe 2 videos ago, where I'm talking about my particular business strategy, trying to move things quickly. It didn't do that well, and that's okay. Not all YouTube videos do that well, but I love selling stuff as fast as possible.
I like to move it.
But I think that's something we all prefer, is to, that's no shocker to anybody. I think we all want to move stuff as fast as we can. So whenever I find these things, and some stuff you kind of know, based on your research or when you're buying the stuff, if it's going to sell reasonably, you have a kind of like a reasonable time frame of how long you might sell or take to sell certain items. Some stuff is just sits longer, but this is the crazy world where you can be sure of a sale that doesn't happen right away. Or something like this, I know this stuff, I didn't anticipate any of this stuff selling quite as fast as it did, but at the same time, some of this stuff has certainly sat around for much longer. Very similar items to this has sat, for a month. So you never really know, but I thought sharing these particular items, things to keep an eye out for, and share the price that I sold them for, just that they sold so fast. So hopefully that was a bit of use and helpfulness to everyone out there, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, and good luck out in the wilds, and I'll see you out there.